Good morning, Unity of Palm Harbor. Woo! You thought you were going to sleep today. No, we are alive, awake, and we are happening. And we have a very, very special guest with us today. In the front row, Lynn Principe Golden is going to share the stage with me today. And I want you to give her a nice, warm welcome. Sometimes we come up here and we teach. Sometimes we come up here and we inform. And sometimes we come up here and we ask the hard questions. And in the month of June, the theme is asking the hard questions with love. And that means sometimes we get a little uncomfortable about certain subjects that might feel, why do you talk about that in church? Well, why wouldn't we talk about that in church? This is our home. This is our family, and we care for one another. And in doing that, we open up a variety of topics. Sometimes it's from our wonderful mentors and founders, the Fillmores. Sometimes it's from other master teachers. And sometimes it's what each one of us is facing in our daily life. And so that's why I'm especially pleased that I met Lynn through our friend Deanna Gray, who does our yoga now. She's come back in once a month. And to do these sort of things just makes us more aware, informed, and we can make educated decisions about where we want to go with our lives. Our consciousness, uplifting our consciousness, that's part of our goal right here on the planet Earth in this incarnation. So before we get started with our music, I'd like to recognize anyone with a June birthday. Does anybody in our audience have a June birthday? Oh, I'm seeing some fingers, and I know there's Mr. Rob in the back. So if we could, when the music team gets up here, they can sing the happy birthday. Is that okay? Okay, and without further ado, we'll go to our music team.
Good morning. So let's start with happy birthday.
All right.
All right?
You care what key, Tara?
A?
G?
A?
G?
No, let's go with G.
A G.
G.
Key of G.
That's all right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Everybody.
people. Happy birthday to you. Hey!
And now, won't you please stand and join us in singing Joy in My Heart?
I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to say. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to say.
Beautiful.
Nice job.
You may be seated. Thank you.
Okay. Michelle's been reminding me to tell you that I write most of these songs. So basically, 95% of what you hear is my stuff. So what I'll just do is tell you when it's not my stuff. That last song was not mine. So. And I'm very grateful that you guys allow me to express my creative pursuit with you. So this one's called So Good to See You Again.
And it is.
Happy to be with you, so good to see you again. Our timeless connection, loving affection reminds me of why we are friends. There's something about the way we share and show each other how we care. Happy to be with you, so good to see you again. So let's take it in and savor this moment. Who knows what tomorrow may bring? There's something in you that brings out the best in me. Somehow I like who I am even more when I'm in your company. I felt it since the moment you came, and I really hope that you feel the same. Happy to be with you, so good to see you again. So let's take it in and savor this moment. Who knows what tomorrow may bring? But we have right now the only time we've ever had. Make sure to say what you feel. It's so surreal the way it feels. I can only describe it as love. Let's take it in, savor this moment. Who knows what tomorrow may bring? But we have right now the only time we've ever had. Make sure to say what you feel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terrell and Michelle. That was beautiful. And if we're taking credit, I have to admit that I write all the announcements. And our first announcement, of course, is about our beautiful flowers this morning, arranged by Judith Overcash. They're dedicated by Myrna Quevedo in memory of her mom, Aurora. And I didn't see her here. She's here somewhere. There she is. And Wednesday night, this coming Wednesday, is the second Wednesday, and so Laura Lee will be here teaching Tai Chi. And flyers are on the table for all of our Wednesday night activities, so be sure to pick one up. We have, of course, our special guest this morning joining Reverend Tracey on the stage, and she's also going to be doing a 6-week class for the end of life activities, if you will, and it begins June the 23rd. You can sign up in the foyer. There's a limit of 12, so if you want to get in this class, and I'm sure you will after you hear Lynn speak. Then Charlie Thweet will be coming here from Connecticut to share his music and his message on July the 11th, and he's also going to present his love, if you will, for A Course of Miracles in a workshop on the 12th. So that sign-up sheet is also in the foyer, and you can pay in the bookstore for those activities. And now our daily word reader is Greg Aiken, and he will be up here sharing the word with us.
Good morning, everybody. Good to see everybody this morning. Beautiful morning here at Unity of Palm Harbor. And let's just take a deep breath. I love my breaths, you know. Take a deep breath way up high into your shoulders. Breathe out. And the daily word today is healing. My thoughts, words, and actions affirm divine life. Today I give thanks for the constant activity of divine healing life, especially when my body is experiencing illness. To bolster my awareness of my capacity for healing, I place my attention on my inherent wholeness. I affirm life in my thoughts, my words, and my actions as I care for my body and meet its needs. My faith assures me that illness is not the truth of me, nor is it my enduring reality. Through my actions, I am affirming wholeness as my true nature and encouraging my healing. Even when I am not facing illness, I greet each day by blessing my body, affirming my wholeness and the ongoing activity of divine life in every organ and every cell. I give thanks for the gift of divine life by giving thanks for my healing and living joyously. He said to me, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace." Luke 8:48.
If this is my last song, if this is my final day, if tomorrow I'll be gone, what do I want to say? If this is my last song, if it's my time to go, when my body's moved on, what will I have to show? Oh, but fortune and fame, they scatter to the wind. Things that make a name just don't matter in the end. But is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and sky a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the things that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. If these are my last words for all of the world to hear, if all that I have ever been is about to disappear, if these are my last words, there's nothing that I need to say. I have only tried to serve. It's never been about talking anyway. So much hurt there is to heal, it's hard to understand. All that I can hope to feel is that I'm doing what I can. But is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and the sky a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. Has a child been helped and a hungry soul been fed? Has somebody stood a little taller 'cause of something that I've said? Have I left a little kindness? Have I eased a little pain? If so, then I'm glad I came. For that, I'm so glad I came. If this is my last song, what do I leave behind? What do I pass on if I am out of time?
That was perfect, just perfect. If you knew that you only had 2 hours to live, what would you do? If you knew you only had 3 months to live, what would you do? I'd like to open with a passage from Khalil Gibran. And they say, "Teacher, tell us about death." And this is what he says. "You would know the secret of death, and how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl, whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day, cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depth of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond. And like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. For what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind and to melt in the sun? And what is it to cease breathing but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then you shall truly dance." Thank you, Joy. That was perfect. Thank you. So I would like to introduce to you someone, and you may not even know this concept. You all know that I entered ministerial school about 4 years ago, and the idea of a doula was introduced to me. Now, I understood what a birth doula is. She helps assist as a new life is coming into the world. And that is a miracle. So how would it feel if we looked at life as it's exiting this physical existence also as a miracle? Well, those miracle workers are called death doulas, celebration of life doulas, end of life doulas. And I'm going to invite Lynn to come join me on the stage as we take a little journey with you this morning and tell you what a death doula does. Lynn?
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is that good?
So let's begin with something very easy. What does a death doula do?
Okay. Not easy.
Okay.
Like you said, we talk about birth doulas. So a death doula is really on the other bookend of life. We offer non-medical care. The short version is non-medical care. We're emotional support. We're an advocate for your end-of-life wishes. We help everyone get on the same page as far as family members go. And we're there for grief support as well.
Yeah.
So ideally, in a little bit longer version, I like to work with people when they have a few months of life, maybe they have a terminal diagnosis, and we identify the things in their lives that feel unfinished in different domains and help them to complete things, create a vision map per se. And then also there's the sitting bedside vigil. That's something that doulas do. And then we're there for the after-death care, helping them get to their final resting place, and there for grief support as well. So really 3 parts.
When I met Lynn, I could feel that she's got this sweet, gentle energy that can just encompass all that comes before her. And it's a learning process for each one of us. But one of the questions I asked her, as it's been approached to me in my office, I don't know how to die. I don't know how to die. And maybe you could help us. I'm sure you've received that question.
Not so much, but something I've thought about. I believe that our bodies have a wisdom that we maybe forgot. We forgot how to be with one another through the dying process. And I think that people talk about this movement being a new thing, but really it's remembering that we all know how to be in community. We know how to be with one another through that process. People are starting to have more home funerals, home vigils, and we're getting back to knowing how to be with one another through those times.
There's a book that Lynn suggested I get, and we just happen to have it in our bookstore, Advice for Future Corpses, a practical perspective on death and dying. Advice for future corpses. Because, we're not going to get out of here alive. So what do you think this book takes us through? A little bit of a journey, and that question I asked, that a member asked me, I don't know how to die. And they said, look at it as if you're taking a spiritual journey. If you were taking a spiritual journey, what might you do? Well, you might educate yourself as to what the process might be like. When I was doing my internship at a hospital, and I worked mostly with the children, the babies that were maybe not going to thrive, it was very shocking to me to see the change in color. But what was really beautiful to me was to see the family outpouring, coming together, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, best friends, holding that sacred space. And I'm imagining that's what a doula does, holding that sacred space, allowing you to express everything that you might need and want to express. So I opened our talk with saying what needs to be said. Saying what needs to be said. I know in my personal journey, my mother had a diagnosis and she outlived it 5.5 years. And you would think over a period of time, we all knew what was going to happen. Yet at the time it actually happened, there is a grief process that is shocking to the cellular structure of the body. At least that was true for me. And there were times that I forgot hair appointments. And I forgot this, and time didn't seem real. And I was in between worlds. And I wondered if maybe you could address some of that.
Address what happens with the grief process?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I think grief forever changes us. I mentioned a book this morning. It's called The Wild Edge of Sorrow by Francis Weller. And he talks about grief. We all understand the grief of losing ones that we love. But there are other types of grief, and we've experienced a lot of this as communities worldwide with COVID. There has been difficulty in expressing that grief, and it's something that even you might feel and not even name because it's everywhere right now. The other types of grief are ancestral grief, grief that we carry in our DNA, in our bodies. There's the grief of not having what we expected, not having the love or the life or the relationships that we thought we were meant to have but didn't have. So the grief can be very complex. And I know that it changes you forever. Perhaps it's like a river rushing through, and eventually the flowers will grow. But you're always going to be really on that path, and grief will be your companion.